General contractor, these are the 10 documents you need before your first federal bid. I speak to a lot of contractors and they're just not ready. The clients that I have now, we are getting them ready. We're bidding on commercial projects. If you're thinking about getting into commercial and federal state contracts and getting that work, steady income, and being able to increase your revenue, head over to smartmoversclub.com right now and see how we could help. We do have a newsletter. It's called The Bid Sheet. We send it out every Monday, and in it you get all sorts of awesome things to get yourself ready in order to get these opportunities. The opportunities are open, wide open, some states even more than the others. If you're in New Jersey and Maryland, Tennessee, VA, we could get you started almost right away. All right, so the pre-qualification checklist every contractor needs, but most don't have. So we put this list together and you could go and get this entire list. I have the link in the description because with it, I'm not gonna get into some deeper parts, but within the ebook that we have, or a checklist or whatever you wanna call it, this resource, we have the links direct to that certification, to the forms, to the document, to wherever you need to go. All right, so here's 10, and this video will have a bonus 5, as well as in the resource guide. A lot of the items that we see coming out of this, this is Stan Ulig, and he has over 40 years in federal construction contracting, working with the DOD, DOE, the Department of Energy, the Army, a lot of big contracts. He also was the chief engineer, project manager, senior project manager, so he has a lot of insight. Well, we digested this 300-page book and given it to you here in 10 documents. But also, if you are new to commercial or federal bids and you just want you want a fractional bid department, my company will help you. We analyze the bids from scope to rote, make sure that you're qualified, and we only bid on things that we know you're going to win. And why is that important? That's important because when you're dealing with residential, when you're dealing in that market, it is drought season, it is peak season, it is valley season, it's almost inconsistent depending on consumer spending, depending on a lot of external factors. If people are getting laid off, they're not going to get the renovation in their bathroom. If people don't have discretionary income, they're not going to do certain things. Most of the insurance companies, you know, with the roof, hail damage and all sorts of different things, you have to depend on that. But if you're scrolling on Yelp and you're trying to get the handyman work or the one person that'll help you, Yelp is just taking your money, okay? I'm gonna be real honest with you. All these ads and things are just taking your money. You gotta hunt for the projects. And when you hunt, you gotta have a target. You know, a target that you're going to get your profit margin, a target that you could actually do the work, a target that you have the crews ready, and the bids, it's endless, right? So when commercial dies down, federal is always pumping. When federal dies down in your state, but there's always federal money and set-asides that have to go to these small businesses, whether you're a veteran-owned general contractor, whether you're a minority-owned general contractor or women-owned, you know, there's always these set-asides for that. And it's about 18% of the contract. So let's get started today here. First thing you're going to need is your DUNS number. That's the DUNS number. It's now really the UEI number. That's the unique entity identifier. That's your company's federal ID number. You know, the EIN, no, that's your federal ID number. Replaced DUNS April of 2022. So a lot of people just had the DUNS number. That's great. However, you need your unique entity identifier. Why do you need this? You need it because it's required for all federal registration and contracting. Without it, you literally cannot bid, okay? You just cannot bid. How to get it? It's free. Free registration at SAM.gov. If you're into this, you know what SAM.gov is. You're familiar with it, but you know, scoping around the website and all that, it could get a little confusing. A lot of the government websites are a little confusing. So we help you with that in case you need it. Again, in the ebook, we have the direct link so you could get that registration going. All right, so the next thing is the SAM.gov active registration. Of course, when you're in SAM.gov getting your UEI, there you're going to have an active registration in SAM.gov. That's the system for award management, the federal government's central vendor database. That's what it is. If I want to look up general contractors in Virginia that have a NIAC, I call it a NIAC code, right? For roofing, I could go and search in SAM.gov, and I find all the roofers in Virginia under that NIAC. So the common mistakes, though, is selecting the wrong NAICS. I call it the NIAC, and I'm always going to call it. It limits what contracts you see. So it only if you create a registration in SAM.gov and you have your NIACs listed. Okay, you do roofing, you do drywall, you do cement, you do concrete, you do electric, you do HVAC, whatever it is, the NIACs, you have a bunch of different ones and they all relate to one trade, one thing, right? So you have to select a bunch of them that involves your specialties. So you gotta update that. You gotta make sure that you don't have any incomplete certification section. So this takes about 7 to 10 business days to activate after your submission. So plan ahead, and you gotta renew that every year. So you got a renewal required is annual. Again, we have the resource link in the ebook that you could grab. All right, so number 3 is your capability statement. A lot of you guys already have your capability statement. If you do not, this is a 1 to 2 page document that explains who you are. It's basically your resume. All right, so your company's federal contracting resume, who you are, what you do, your past projects, your capabilities, and it is what it is. So what do you include on this capability statement? It's a PDF, right? I like a 1-pager. They're easy to read, easy to scan, but it could be 1 to 2 pages. You do not want to go over 2 pages on this. So you have your company overview, your name, your location, your year that you've been established, your core competencies, what trades, what services, your codes, the primaries and secondaries, your past performance, 3 to 5 relevant projects, your differentiators, this is your certifications, your equipment maybe you have, your response time, your bonding capacity could be on that, your contact information, of course. All right, so the next thing this is number 4, your past performance documentation. We want to have 3 to 5 projects, right? And coming from residential, you think, oh man, this roof project wasn't that big. Why am I going to go into bid on a roof project for a school or a fire station or a police station or some library when all I did was a few small projects? Do not think of that. This is your detailed records of completed projects proven you could execute similar work, right? So the federal evaluation criteria heavily weight past performance, okay? It's about 30 to 40% of your score. So you want to make sure you have past experiences, past performance, past jobs on this capability statement. If you don't have any past performance, you're considered like a high risk general contractor, where why would federal, state, local, municipal even take you because you're new, right? They could just go over to someone that's been doing it and get a better result in terms of their score. All right, so so let's talk about this with the residential, right? So don't assume residential work doesn't count. Again, a $50K commercial roof for a private company, you can demonstrate capability for a $75K federal facility roof. Okay, frame it correctly though. You focus on scope, complexity, timeline, and performance, not who the customer was. So it's what you do, it's not who the customer was, right? So you focus on the technical requirements of it. Is it a multi-building? Is it an occupied facility when you've done it? Tight timeline shows that you're a great project manager, great at getting the deliverables completed. Also, you got to emphasize safety compliance, insurance, quality control. These things are good. You show value delivered versus the budget. Okay, so if you have 3 to 5 past performance, which most general contractors do in any of their specialties, then you want to highlight those things on your past performance. Okay, number 5 is financial statements. These are the last 2 years. This is very important, okay? Balance sheet, profit and loss statement, cash flow statement, proof of financial stability. They want to make sure that you're not going to go bust up before you get the payment from the government in one lump sum. You have to take care of these items, okay? Government wants to ensure you won't go bankrupt mid-project. Many solicitations require financial documentation for pre-qualification. They want to see positive cash flow. They want to see revenue trend. Are you growing? Are you stable? They want to see working capital. Can you front the costs before payment comes to you? Debt to equity ratio. Are you over leveraged? So the government isn't looking for perfection though. They're looking for stability and capacity. A $1 million revenue contractor with positive cash flow and no major debt can win a $200K contract, but a $3 million contractor drowning in debt is high risk. And that's what they base it on. All right, number 6 is, and again, we have resources and links, direct links to the website. So this one goes right to SBA, where you manage your business. This is strictly for contractors, right? So it goes right to their managing your finances, helps you with accounting, helps you get that documents that you need to show and prove that you're eligible and qualify for the bid. All right, so number 6 is insurance certifications, insurance. Okay, proof of insurance coverage meeting federal requirements, general liability, we all know. The minimum here is typical is 1 mil to 2 mil. Your workers' compensation, that's statutory requirements. Okay, commercial auto, all right, professional liability for design builds. Excuse me. Builder's risk for new construction. So they want to make sure that you're fully insured taking on these projects. Again, direct link to the FAR, the FAR insurance requirements, gives you all the insurance requirements. And go grab that ebook. Again, link is in the description. All right, so number 7 is bonding letter, bonding capacity documentation. And this is highly important. This is a letter from a surety company stating your bonding capacity, max single contract size, and aggregate. So you have 2 numbers there. You have that on your COI as well. You have your number, okay, and then you have your aggregate. Most federal construction contracts over 150K require payment, okay, and performance bonds. You need pre-qualification before bidding. And everything here, you need it before bidding. So it's good to have it. Let's talk a little bit more about the types of bonds, okay? Bid bond is 5 to 10% of bid amount. Guarantees you'll sign if awarded, okay? Performance bond is 100% of the contract, guarantees you'll complete the work, okay? And then payment bond is 100% of contract, that guarantees you'll pay your subs and suppliers, okay? So don't bid on bonded contracts without confirming your surety will bond that specific project. Many contractors assume bonding capacity and get stuck after winning. You don't want to assume here, okay? You don't want to be stuck. There's something that Stan said in, the preface, okay, of this book. And this, I'm going to just read it here. He says, because so few commercial projects are being built, and this time he wrote the book, we're talking about after 2008, 2009, when, there wasn't a lot of CapEx going on. There was not a lot of money being circulated in the private industry. A lot of contractors then started moving into the government federal because that's where it was flowing. That market was actually booming at that time. Most of the times after a recession or after sort of like a depression or a low spending from your citizens, your private citizens, the federal government takes on that, and you start seeing there's a lot of infrastructure being made. It happened in 1929, okay? You had the Act, infrastructure, roadways, states, all of that went towards infrastructure and development. Same thing after 2020, when you had the Infrastructure Act that Biden put out. Most of that tailored to more green projects, right? efficiency projects and things like that. But you start seeing that, and you start seeing the seasons, okay? But he said here, federal government laws and processes are very different from those in commercial and state and local government construction sectors. And mastery of these laws and processes is essential to success. Here's the most important part. Companies today are bidding on federal projects without a clear understanding of what it takes to do the work for the government. As a result, many are encountering serious financial difficulties because, again, it's the assumption that we're doing here. Oh, okay, I think I could clear that with my bond, and you can't. Okay, so again, in the ebook, it's a little more specific. We talk about how to get bonding alternative for small contractors, okay, because the SBA has a surety bond guarantee program, and then we have the resource link. So you may want to still get the ebook here. Number 8, this is huge. This is where my company comes in a little more than any other company, I think, and it's with your safety plan, your OSHA compliance documentation. This is not an option, okay, when you're dealing with the government. This is not an option when you should have it anyway. No matter how little or small you think your company is, you should definitely have your OSHA compliance and definitely have a safety plan, okay? How do you log incidents? What are incidents? How do you prevent incidents? How do you develop a risk analysis for a project? What happens when an incident occurs? What are the steps you take? Where's your training plan? These things are very important. Your company should always have a safety policy. That's just what it is. But it's when you work with the government, this is not option, this is required. So it's a written safety program demonstrating OSHA compliance and job site safety protocols. We actually develop that for our clients if they don't already have that. So if that's something that resonates with you, you may want to head over to smartmoversclub.com right now. So what does it include? It includes your experience modification rate, workers' comp rating, that's your EMR. It has your safety equipment inventory, your emergency response procedures. That is very important. Your site-specific safety plan template, your OSHA training certificates, 10 hour, 30 hours, okay? The 30-hour one, of course, you know that person is the trainer, okay? And the 10-hour one, everyone has to be OSHA compliant, okay? All right, so again, we go into your key metrics that you should have in the ebook. Safety is non-negotiable. As we know in federal work, a single OSHA violation can disqualify you from future contracts. That's why it's important. Invest in proper training and documentation up front. Don't skim, don't take shortcuts on this one. It is huge. Number 9 is a quality control plan, written procedures for ensuring work meets specifications and standards. Why do you need that? Why do you need a quality control plan? Okay, well, federal contracts require QC plans, especially for construction, shows you have systems, not just we do good work. All right, nobody wants to hear that. Oh, my craftsmanship is the best, or we do good jobs. No. Show me that you do. Where's your systems and that's in place? So what does it include? Who's responsible for what? What's your organizational chart? That's in there. Your inspection procedures. How do you inspect equipment? How do you inspect that the tools that you're using are actually valid, ready to go, and won't break down? Testing protocols, your workmanship, your materials. How do you know that your guys on a job are doing less than quality work? What do you look for? Your reporting procedures, your documentation procedures, your review process, the final acceptance procedures. Who goes in there and signs off that this is quality, this is good work? So you must have it. The government wants to see systems, okay? They don't want promises. They don't want hopes. They don't want braggadocio. They don't want to hear you. They want to see your systems. A QC plan shows you have processes for catching problems before they become defects, okay? It's a risk mitigation for the procurement officer. Now imagine if you have these, like everything that I'm mentioning here, on a local level, on a commercial level, on even a residential level. You set yourself apart 100%. And it's always about the USP. It's always about what makes your company unique. Why go with you versus everyone else? If you're focused 100% on safety, I know quality is behind that, right? Quality follows safety 100%. So here we go. Again, we have the USACE Quality Control Guide as a direct link. you could get that, and that's strictly engineer pamphlets that you can utilize. All right, and the last one, and this is if it's applicable to you, is the small business certification. Official certifications for small business, again, veteran owned, women owned, minority owned, hub zone, if you're in a hub zone, etc. 23% of federal, I said it was 18 before, so I want to, correct that. 23% of federal contracts are set aside for small businesses. These contracts have less competition and higher win rates. So some of these certifications takes a little long, sometimes up to a year. We have someone on staff that's able to work with you, work with your company, and we could get you these certifications. As long as all the documentation's in place, we could get that within a few months. We're not going to guarantee it, but we are organized enough to get that. If you are organized enough to have your documents in place, we can help you do that. All right, so the types of certifications, again, you're looking at small business. That's automatic under the SBA size standards, right? So if you have the amount of employees, right? So what makes you a small business? That's how that's organized. Then you have the 8A, business development, socially, economically disadvantaged. Then you have the hub zone, historically underutilized business zones. Then you have women-owned small business. Then you have service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. Then you have veteran-owned small business. So there's a few here. Small businesses set aside are your competitive advantage. So take the time, get this stuff in, start putting yourself in position to win. All right. And here we talk about how to get certified. We talk about some notes, and we give you 2 links here that goes direct to the resource. So I have 11 through 15. I gave you the top 10, but I'm going to just run through these 11 through 15. Again, all of them are in the ebook. Tax clearance, good standing certificates. Get that. You should have it. No outstanding tax liens. That's what that proves. Your business license, make sure your current contractor license for all states where you perform work. Once you're a part of the Smart Movers Club and we're doing this for you, we actually, keep tabs on that. We'll send you an email. We'll notify you 3 months, 90 days in advance that, hey, your insurance looks like it's going to expire. Your business license, there's a renewal. We kind of keep you in check with that. Or your HIC license. Key personnel resumes, it's good to have this, right? Resumes for project managers, superintendents, QC managers. Your subcontractor list, who's your go-to subcontractors, your pre-qualified subs, it's good to have that, and your equipment list. If you're running a big operation and you have equipment, you have the booms, you have this, you have vans, you have whatever, all of that needs to go down on an equipment list, so make sure that you have that. So head over to smartmoversclub.com. I hope this helped you out and hope to see you soon. You can come and talk to us, and we will be glad to help you and show you how we can help you.